Age of Enlightenment, Part 15. Hey, Donald Trump, two wrongs don't make a right. And I'm not referring to an individual wrong. I'm talking about two wrong people. You met with the president of El Salvador, and they have in their custody a man from Maryland who your administration admitted should not have been deported. And now you're saying we can't get him back, we being the United States. That's wrong. And then the president of El Salvador said, I can't release this guy. He's I don't release murderers. We just, took our country back. We used to be the murder capital of the world. We don't want to return to that. And by letting these knuckleheads out of prison, that's what we would do. Well, the problem with that is it's built, as everything this administration is built on, an evil and mean lie. Because I think you could get him out of that prison. And I think Donald Trump could make you. And then when Donald Trump was asked about, this Maryland man, he didn't even refer to the fact that he was sent there committing no crime and getting absolutely no due process. Okay? He just started talking about the most vicious crimes, raping 80-year-old people and these just ridiculously obscene crimes that no one would want that person released. But you know what? In our country, if you are as vile as the president described the other day, you still get due process. We give due process to vile criminals all the time. We don't deport them and send them to a foreign prison, although we didn't used to do that. If we allow this to stand, this will become the norm. And as someone who's an other, I grew up in the black community, which is only about 13% of the population, but I'm biracial. I'm a minority of a minority. I don't have any group that would have my back. Nobody on MSNBC will be talking about me. So when those people can be picked up on the street, the student that was picked up with the guys with the mask and put in a nondescript van, and this Maryland man taken to an El Salvador prison and locked up there. And, it's one of the most notorious prisons for being a black hole. Like, families can't get in touch with the people that are there. And once you're there, you never get out. And there's no due process in El Salvador. You get in there, the only thing I can say is pray, because that'll be the only thing that saves you. I have a problem when two presidents in a room can't resolve the fact that this guy was mistakenly incarcerated in another country after being mistakenly deported with no due process. I have a problem with that. And those two wrongs, being Donald Trump and the president of El Salvador, don't make it right. And you can cover it up with even more lies by describing vicious and vile criminals and saying, oh, well, we're going to lump him into that group. Well, the only problem with that is that you don't have any proof, because he never went into due process. He never got a hearing. So come on, folks. We have to hold this administration accountable just as we would any administration. If the previous administration had done this, I'd be making the same post. I'd be a little bit more pissed because I voted for that administration. So let's do what we can, call who we need to call, and make us think about this, because if we let this go, it's like the old famous, I think it's an old Jewish quote, when they came for the gypsies, I didn't say anything because I wasn't a gypsy. And he lists about 4 or 5 different categories, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't a part of that category. Then when they came for me, nobody said anything because there was no one left. Well, I don't want to wait till there's no one left. Martin Luther King Jr. said, if there's injustice for one, it's an injustice for all. So this should offend all of us. And we should all do our part to bring it to light. This is my part. And I can call my representative and let them know I'm displeased by this administration's move, but you know what? They're getting more than their share of calls from me. So come on, folks, we need to do this together. How about we start today?